Let the one who boasts boast in the Lord. For it is not the one who commends himself who is approved, but the one whom the Lord commends. It is Thursday, the 9th day of March, 2023. Clive Walsh here, and it's time for the reading of our devotional thought for today. And it's being read from the devotional book, which is entitled Truth for Life, 365 Daily Devotions, Volume 2, by Pastor Alistair Begg. Today's devotional thought is entitled Boasting in Weakness. That's Boasting in Weakness. And the verse today, 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 17 and 18, and it reads, Let the one who boasts boast in the Lord, for it is not the one who commends himself who is approved, but the one whom the Lord commends. Pastor Alistair Begg writes, The world has always been quick to encourage people to believe in and boast in themselves. In Paul's day, as now, the more you are able to say about yourself what you've done and what you're planning to do, the greater the possibility that you'd advance your career, be well-liked, and prove yourself a success. And this thinking, if you are not careful, pervades our perspective on our lives, including our personal ministries. We ask ourselves, have I done great things? Am I well-liked? Have I been a success? But according to Paul, what you say about yourself means nothing in God's work. It's what God says about you that makes the difference. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 18. Paul's second letter to the Corinthian church is part of a very personal correspondence. Part of this letter involves a lengthy defense of his ministry in the face of strong criticism. While Paul isn't concerned of his own reputation, he is concerned for the members of the body of Christ under his shepherding care. And out of that care emerges significant truths concerning boasting and humility, which we must take to heart. Paul could easily have matched his critics in their own boasting, 2 Corinthians 11, 21 through 23. But instead, he took a different approach. Instead of bragging about his statues and his service to God, he ran through an extensive list of his sufferings and weaknesses. He shared these failures, these weaknesses, because he viewed them as asset, as the key to knowing and experiencing God's power and the ways in which God had weakened him before working through him. The principle here is often lost. We want everyone to know that we have it together, that we're successful, that we don't have any problems. But what are we doing? We're making much of our accomplishments instead of making much of Christ. We're giving the impression of our strength rather than relying on God's. We put a fake smile on our old clay pots. 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 7. Forgetting that the beauty and usefulness comes from what the pot holds, Christ's power, which fills and flows over through our cracks, our weaknesses. We cannot boast in what God is doing as though we deserve it, or boast in what God is doing through us as though we did it all ourselves. There is nothing uglier than spiritual pride, a boasting in something not our own, a boasting in something God-given. Where there is spiritual pride, there is no view of the cross. Make sure that in your successes and in your failings, your song remains the same. Not have I gotten, but what I've received. Grace has bestowed it when I have believed. Boasting excluded, pride I abase. I'm only a sinner, saved by His grace. Beautiful end of this devotional thought entitled, Boasting in Weakness. Not have I gotten, but what I received. Grace hath bestowed it when I have believed. Boasting excluded, pride I abase. I am only a sinner, saved by His grace. That concludes our devotional thought for today. And those of you reading through the scriptures in a year, Job chapter 11, 12, and 13, And 1 Corinthians chapter 5, Clive Walsh here. May the Lord richly bless you and give you a great day.